Here's a story that we found over the wires. A man in Lancaster, his name is Austin Amarca. It's a very interesting name. Mr. Amarca, you there?
Yes, sir.
Your wife, your fiancée, is Susan Welton, correct?
Yes, sir.
And she will not take your name in marriage.
That's essentially the problem, yes.
Now, you have said, and this appeared in the wire story, that if she does not, there is a sizable family inheritance?
Yes, we've been engaged for the last 6 months, and she sort of sprung this on me, that she would not take my name after we got married because she believed that her bloodline would end with her if she did not have any offspring, and that name would end with her if she did not have any offspring.
She has no brothers?
She has no brothers. And I told her that my family name, which is a prominent name, and I need to back up a bit, Mr. Henry, I am a second-generation American. My grandparents are Swiss, and we have a sizable family estate in Switzerland. And my father, who was born here, and myself and my 2 brothers stay in very close contact with our family. The estate is near Lucerne, Switzerland. It has been in our family for some 600 years, and we are a fairly close-knit family insofar as we have an annual family reunion in Lucerne that we attend. Because I have, I suppose, a very old-fashioned family, and these are old-world people who don't understand many new social devices and new social norms, that this puts me in a precarious position with my family, because they do, of course, want what they consider to be, and what I consider to be, a very proud family name to continue.
Is your fiancée aware of this? Now, her name is Susan Welton, and she does not have any brothers, and she has decided that when you marry, she won't take your name, primarily because if you have children, she wants them to have her name.
Primarily, yes. Also, she feels that it is her right to maintain the family name, with or without children, because I do have 3 brothers, because she feels, for I suppose, an admirable reason that a woman should have the right to hold on to a family name. I don't have a quarrel with that. But I do have a quarrel with the reality that I have a very old-fashioned family who has, my family name goes back hundreds of years in Europe, and that without carrying our family name on, and without that, we do have stand to, I think, and in the opinion of my family, discredit a great name. And the other thing that I think is important to point out here is that I have told her that she can do what she wants to do. In other words, she can keep her name. And if we have children, which I certainly do hope, and God willing we will have offspring, if we do have children, she can give the children her name. But I will not, and I insist on a prenuptial agreement, I will not allow her to partake in the family dowry and the family monies that might accrue, or any interest in a family estate.
Is she, and so she's contesting that?
She is contesting that. She feels, as my wife, she has a right to that. I told her that she only has a right to those, in my opinion, those assets that come from my family estate if she takes my family name. If she does not...
Well, but she's going to be married to you, see? She's going to have your children, okay? So she will be a part of your family.
But she will not take my name. And I do not believe if she will not take my name, she has a right to the monies, to the assets, and to, I must tell you, what is a fairly sizable fortune that exists in our family in Europe if she doesn't do that.
Are you a wealthy man?
I'm not a wealthy man. I do have a trust fund that was set up, again, by our family. We are taken care of by virtue of those family connections. I live here in Southern California. I think I have a middle-class life. It's not a grandiose or ornate life. I have a business, which I do very well at, but it's insurance, and I am broker insurance, so I think I'm a fairly average man. but I do carry a very proud family name.
And your last name is Amarca, and this is a proud family name from Switzerland, correct?
Yes, it is. It is a family name that goes back at least as far as we can tell, some 600 years. We do have a family estate, which is outside of Lucerne, Switzerland. It is a very sizable 500-acre estate. Contains many homes. Goes back well into the days of the feudal system in Europe. It is, I suppose, by all accounts, and if you were to look at it, a castle or castle-like home.
So it's one of those old castles that we see on those tour books.
That is correct. Just very similar to the Bavarian castles, the German castles, in that portion and that part of Europe. And that is the site of a family reunion that we have every year. Now, we have this in July. My family is looking forward to meeting her, but I cannot bring her with me if she does not take my family name. We are to be married in May, and we are planning on traveling in July. And
all right, what you're telling me has a lot to do with old world tradition as opposed to American tradition, old customs in conflict and on a collision course with new customs and new social norms. A very modern young wife who wants to maintain her old name and an old world family that doesn't want her to do that. Is that right?
Well, it goes beyond that, too, as they find it to be an embarrassment. And frankly, I don't think they want her there.
If they don't want her at this family reunion if she doesn't have your name.
I don't think they would consider us to be married. And I don't think they would consider us to be a family. And
well, do you agree with them?
I can only agree with them insofar as it's their money. It is an asset, family asset that goes back many hundreds of years, so they can do what they want with it. She has to understand this. And it does not appear that she does. So I can fight them, and if I do, I cut myself out of a very sizable inheritance. I agree with my family insofar as I think she's being a little bit weird about all of it. I don't think it's that important for a woman to maintain her maiden name in marriage if it means that she stands to be precluded from or cut out of a very sizable family fortune. And in that sense, she's messing with my family.
Forgive me, let me ask you something. Where are you from here in the States?
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas.
So the family moved to Texas from Switzerland when?
My grandfather moved to the United States at the turn of the century, 1907.
Well, interesting. So anyway, so you believe that this...
I believe very, very strongly that my fiancée, in not taking my family name, insults my family and is not entitled to these assets.
And she's fighting you on this?
Absolutely is fighting me. She thinks that she is. I'll tell you something. This is an American expression. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you want to be a part of the Amarca family, then you better take the name. But you're not going to go out and maintain your maiden name, have children, give them your maiden name, and think that you're going to be a part of accruing the assets that my family spent 600 years acquiring in the old world. And that is the point that I have tried to make to her in as loving a way as I can, because she is a woman that I love, and she is fighting me on this and fighting me on the prenuptial.
Okay, this is an interesting story, Mr. Amarca. Hold on the line here. So this guy's wife, and we found this in the wire service today, his fiancée will not take his family name. She wants to maintain her name. Apparently, she's the last of her clan's line, of her family, the Welton name, and in so doing will give it to her children. But she wants to be married. She wants to be a part of his family, and they've got a family reunion apparently in Switzerland at a castle where a lot of these old school people aren't going to understand it. Now, let me ask this question of particularly the women listening. If it meant that you would not acquire your husband's property at the time of his death, would you still want to maintain your maiden name in marriage? Or is it just not worth it? Go ahead, take his name and be a part of those, as Mr. Amarca describes it, those assets. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Phil Hendry Show here on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. And I think I put the question well, Mr. Amarca?
I believe I just don't want her messing up my inheritance. And she, by not taking my family name, is going to embarrass me and she needs to cooperate, is what I'm saying.
This gentleman, Austin Amarca, is from Lancaster. Well, I don't know. Where are you calling us from, Mr. Amarca?
Well, I'm in San Marino.
I'm sorry. I don't know where I got Lancaster.
I have two offices in Lancaster. It's possible you got it from because I know the wire service carried that.
All right, you're in San Marino?
Yes, sir.
Your family name is Amarca. Your wife, your fiancée, I should say, doesn't want to take the name because she wants to maintain her name and maintain her family's name and pass that along to any potential offspring, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And I feel it's unfair because I do, as I say, have a family that the family name is very important to us, and that she expects to be the inheritor of a sizable family fortune, which I do not believe that she's entitled to. And I have told her, we have a family estate. There's a castle. There are all the things that I think women find very interesting and fanciful. What woman doesn't want to be Princess Diana? What woman in America doesn't want to be Princess Grace Kelly? And I offer my fiancée life, at least part of the year, living in an old world castle in Switzerland, which is my family estate, and my family's estate for the last 600 years, and she don't want to do that. She wants to hold on to her name. I offer access to a castle, and she fights it. And
you find that unreasonable for a woman?
I think it's very strange. I think it's very, very strange for a woman not to want that kind of ornate and luxurious living. All she has to do is take my name like I want her to, and then everything's going to be fine.
All right, hold on. 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County, Long Beach on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
I just want to express it. I've been listening to this guy, and he's talking about his state, he's talking about last name, he's missing the entire point, is that you can both have your way where she can take her last name, hyphenate it, and take his name as well.
No, I don't want to. I think that belittles the family name.
No, not at all, because then
yes, I do.
She's getting her way. The reason why she's not saying, oh, yes, I want your name, because she wants the estate, that's not the whole reason. She wants her name, and you have to respect that, too.
I do respect it.
Yeah, but she's taking not only your name, but also your family, and she doesn't really care about your estate. All she wants is her name involved somewhere along the line. So it's her first
Does she not care about the money?
Oh, yes, she does. She wants very much to be a part of our family's estate and inheritance, yes. And I have told her that I will find it difficult to include her that way if she doesn't take our family name.
Well, she is going to take your family name.
No,
it's going to be her last name, and her name is in the center. So you have to understand.
Well, has she agreed? Wait. You're assuming some things here, ma'am. Has she agreed to hyphenate?
I will not accept that.
See, there you go.
I will not accept that the family name is Amarca, her husband's name is Amarca, and I believe that hyphenation is an abortion of the family in terms of family tradition.
Well, that's unfortunate that she has...
Let me ask this lady in Long Beach, would you like to live in a castle?
Every American woman, I think, would want to live that way. We've got a real castle in Switzerland, which has been the family for 600 years.
You know what, I would just want to live with my husband, whether he was rich or poor. But, in this day and age, of course, I would love to live in a castle.
It would be beautiful, wouldn't it?
It would be, but I would not live in the castle if I was going to compromise my own feelings and my own beliefs and my own family.
Where does this stand with your fiancé now?
She will not. She has said to me that I'm blackmailing her. And I said, I am not blackmailing you. I am making a reasonable request. If you are to be a part of my family, I want you to take the family name. I said, do you want to be a part of our family estate and inheritance? And she said, yes. I said, then you must take the family name. She calls that emotional blackmail.
Well, I agree with her. It's obvious to me that you don't love her enough to allow her to have her name hyphenated along with your name.
She wants to give her name to our kids.
It would be her name hyphenated.
Your name you got to understand something. I won't let her hyphenate. There ain't going to be no hyphenation at all with the family name.
Well, you know what?
Well, why is that? Why can't you compromise?
I come from an old world family. I have a grandfather who would tan my ass blue if he found out how does Welton Amarca sound. It sounds like hell.
No, you know what? It's so unfortunate because I need to end this call, but that you are a very controlling individual, and if she marries you, then you're going to be too controlling, and I feel sorry for her.
I think it's her fault, not mine. She's going to ruin, and she's not going to get to live in a castle because she's being selfish about it.
Yeah, but how many other men out there have castles? You don't know that, and you know what? Eventually,
how many American men have access to a castle? I don't think any. Our castle is an old world estate. There is an actual moat. There's an actual drawbridge. All of the things that every American woman would want. I'll tell you this much, ma'am, and I say this with great respect. If she don't want it, somebody else will.
Well, and there you go.
Well, don't say that to her. That's a cruel thing to say to a woman. You love her, don't you?
I love her very much.
And I'm sure she loves you, and that would be a cruel, cruel thing to say to her.
Well, we got towers. My great-great-great-great-grandmother conceived up in one of the towers. This is something that no American woman would look, would have to, she could walk away from.
Well, she lives in America, not in Switzerland, and you can't...
Have you been to Switzerland?
Yes.
It's a magical country, gorgeous country.
Well, I just want to say that I really pity her, and I hope that if she doesn't decide to marry you, that she will find somebody who loves her for who she is and what her name is, no matter what it is.
I didn't get that.
I said that she will find somebody else who loves her for who she is and not because of her name.
I'm having a hard time.
She'll find someone who will love her for who she is. In other words, she'll find someone who will let her keep her name and not have to take their name if she doesn't stay with you.
Exactly.
I must be so. I don't understand what either one of you are talking about.
All right,
we're talking about the fact that she'll find a man who will let her keep her last name, and she won't have to take his name if she doesn't stay with you.
Well, I hope there isn't any racism going on here.
Oh God, you're missing.
Well, no. Well, you were belittling my home country of Switzerland.
No, I am not. I am
just said so there isn't any racism.
No
racism. There's no racism. We're talking about American culture and social norm versus the old world, old European culture and social norm. And as I said at the outset, there is seems to be a collision course. I thank you very much, ma'am. I know you have to go. Thank you. There seems to be a collision going on. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI LA County. Phil Henry Show, talking with Mr. Austin Amarca. His family goes back 600 years in Switzerland. His fiancée will not take his name. She wants to keep her name. She wants to give her name to the offspring, and he is saying that there will be no participation by her in their family fortune if she does not take the name. Is he blackmailing her? Does she have the right to ask for to keep her name? And so we're talking here about whether, I guess what we're really talking about, Mr. Amarca, is whether a woman would like to live in a castle or not. Your family, and just to reset for the audience, goes back how many years?
Well, our family goes back 600 years in Switzerland, near Lucerne. We have a family estate there.
And your family name is Amarca?
Our very proud family name is Amarca. My fiancée has said she does not want to take that name. I told her, and I have insisted on a prenuptial that says she will take the family name. Number one, because it is a proud family name. Number two, I want my children to be named Amarca. And number three, so that she can be a part of a substantial family fortune. And
you're talking about a family has a castle?
Well, the best way to describe it to Americans would be it is a castle. It is an ancient fortress built, I'm trying to think now, I believe in the 15th century. It was built primarily during the days of the city-states, which were part of Italy and North Italy, primarily to keep invading armies from the Teutonic armies, the German armies out of northern Switzerland, out of northern Italy. And also it was a feudal estate. So in those days, there were feudal lords, and they had people who worked on the land, and this was a part of my family's tradition. Now, I offer this to my fiancée to live in a castle like a princess. We have flags. We've got, as I said, a moat. We have a family reunion there this coming summer, which is very traditional, and she don't want it. She's saying, no, I want my name. And
she's saying she doesn't want it, or she's saying that you're blackmailing her?
Well, she's acting like she don't want it. And I'd say it's pissing me off, because we got the family reunion this summer.
All right, here's Running Springs on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're on the air, sir.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious. This man's extolling the virtues of this castle so much. Does he want the castle, or is he in love with this young lady?
Well, I'm very much in love with the young lady.
Oh no, what's the choice? I mean, you know.
The choice is the young woman is going to have the ability to live in a castle like a goddamn princess.
Well, does she want to be?
Yeah, because
You sure?
Well, she's angry because I told her she's got to take my name. Now, if she didn't want to live in a castle and she didn't give a damn, she could leave and not take my name, right?
Yeah, she could do that.
Yeah,
I was curious about one thing. See, you've got several brothers, right? 3, I think you said?
I have brothers.
You have brothers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you know you're going to inherit the castle? Where's she going to live?
Well, because part of it, this is an estate that is about 700 acres. You have to understand. So there are a number of residences. There are a number of villas. There's all kinds of places to live on a very sizable estate. In the Alps, you've got guest homes. You have there is a very modern mansion that was built back in the 30s by a family member, which is actually a much more modern home than the actual family estate castle itself. So there's quite a few places to live, but we'll all have access to the castle.
Oh, you can use it. It's a part-time share thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's cool. You know, it's really very simple to me. You know, you want the castle, she doesn't. You make the choice.
No, she does.
She does?
Yeah, she wants the castle.
Well,
that's why she's upset. She doesn't want me telling her what to do.
That's a good idea. I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. Here is Eagle Rock on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Marco, I don't mean to belittle you. I understand. I can appreciate your family values. I mean, I think that's great. But the thing that I find most irritating about the whole thing, number one, is that you seem to think that that's all that women want, and that you could just find anybody that is willing to have this castle, have this fortune.
That's all they want. What do they want?
Well, I mean, there's more to just the wealth. I mean, there's a relationship. There's got to be a personal relationship. There's got to be personal respect.
Well, if she doesn't like the idea that I want her to take my name, why don't she leave?
Well, what is her option?
Leave. That's her option.
What?
She doesn't have to marry me. That's her option. But you know what? She wants to marry me because American women want to live in a freaking castle. And they want to have things that they do, you know? Hey, look at all that Princess Diana stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Why do you suppose that happened? Because all these broads want to live in a goddamn castle. I told her that we have a family reunion coming up in late July, that if in order for her to meet my family, she better get on board.
Do you have any other questions at all about her motives? Why she is doing this? Why would you marry somebody if, and I'm not implying anything about your fiance, please don't get me wrong, but why would you marry a woman that has nothing else to offer you besides the fact that she just wants to live rich, but she doesn't want to take your name?
I didn't say anything about her. I said, what are you talking about? You don't know.
I tell you what, you don't sound like a guy that's in love.
You don't know my fiance.
Exactly.
What do you know about love? Don't talk bad about Susie.
Sir, I am not.
My fiance's name is Susan Welton. She is a tremendous woman. You talk bad about her, you're on the fighting side of me.
Sir, I'm not trying to offend you, okay, but I mean, there's so many questions here. First of all,
Thanks for your call. Here's San Diego on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Yeah, hi. The question or concern that I have is that if you guys can't agree on a thing such as a name issue, then how are you going to deal with the real problems in life? And let me ask you a second question.
On it. Don't worry. She'll take my name.
Let me ask you a second question.
That's all. And that's why we're doing this before we get married. You see, you work these problems out before you get married.
Yeah, but
now,
what
I'm saying is we got a family reunion in late July. My family don't want no woman over there that ain't got my name.
In your castle?
In the castle, yes.
Okay, when you move to the castle?
I told her if she takes my name, she gets to be called Lady Susie. Just as a fun, just as a wild thing, you know?
Yeah.
My whole plan is to get married, all right, take her virginity as a man will in the family castle. And
what are you talking about?
I'm going to pop her cherry there in the castle.
Are you sure?
What are you talking about, take her virginity in the castle?
Look, pal, you ever been in a castle?
No, I haven't been in a castle.
It's goddamn romantic. And all I'm trying to say here...
I understand it's romantic. I'm sure it's wonderful. She wants to live in the castle, right?
You're damn right she does. What woman wouldn't?
Okay, but she doesn't want to take your name, right?
That's right.
Well, then at what point are you going to cut this off? So you got to take my name by...
She's got to take my name by the family reunion, I'm telling you, in late July. Okay? We're supposed to be married in May. But I want her to be Mrs. Amarca come late July. Now, I have to tell you something. We have a family reunion coming up. We got a lot of things going on. We're going to have a jousting and all this stuff. And I get fitted for a suit of armor in, it's early April, isn't it? I think.
What are you talking about?
I get fitted for a suit of armor in early April. So I got to get fitted
for what? The family reunion?
That's right. And the chainmail and everything, if it doesn't fit right, I know this is off the subject, but if that chainmail will ride right up your ass in a joust or whatever. So we got to get this squared away. And she will conceive in the castle just like my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother did. It's part of the family tradition. So
all right, hold the line here, man, okay? This guy's got a deadline. He's got to get fitted for his suit of armor.
I want to plant my seed and my wife in the Tower of Amarca.
Yeah, that's great, man. I hope you have a big flag flying up on that freaking thing. Raise it from half staff.
Bill Hendry.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, back with Mr. Austin Amarca, whose wife will not, his fiancée, I should say, will not take his name. It is an ancient family name from Switzerland. And there is a family reunion at the family castle this summer where she better show up with your name or what?
Well, she better show up with my name or not show up at all, Mr. Henry. That's it, okay? And you know, she wants the family fortune, and she wants all the castle stuff, but she don't want my name. If she wants the castle, she's got to take my name.
And that's really the bone of contention, right?
Yes, sir.
South Pasadena on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I just have a few comments that I would like to make.
Hi.
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 When I started to listen to this, I was feeling a little sorry for you, sir. But I have to say that as this interview has gone on, I've now concluded that, and I don't want to offend you, but you're sounding very, very self-centered.
Well, I'm protecting my family name.
I understand that. And so my next question to you is, tell me about your wife and her family name. Why does she want to hold on to that? Does her family heritage and her family name go as far back as yours? Does she have those same cherished feelings that you have?
A lot of Americans, first of all, don't have I guess what you'd say is the family name like I do. Because most Americans, you can't trace their roots back much further than maybe 100 or 200 years. There's a lot of Indian, a lot of black, and you don't know it's all mixed together. We got a pure line going back 600 years in Switzerland. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that, to me, is worth a hell of a lot more than some name. You don't know whether a streetcar conductor had it. You don't know if they're a sharecropper or whatever.
Well, do you know about her family name?
What I'm talking, I got a castle. You see what I'm saying?
You know what? I really don't think that she gives anything about that castle. I believe
then how come she's always talking about, I can't wait to go see the castle, and, you know, and she says these little romantic things about being in the castle and having lovemaking and having a flagon of ale and all of that.
Sir, you don't, I mean, why, I don't understand where your priorities are.
I don't have an Amarca baby and keep the Amarca name going. We have a great-great-great-grandfather, Gunther Amarca. He's going to roll and spin and twirl in his grave. And I don't want that to happen. I want to show up at the family reunion, and we're going to have all kinds of celebration with food and feasting, all of that, with her in tow, with my name on her.
And that is only if she takes your name, is that correct?
Well, how come she wants to come over to the castle and see the court jester and all that stuff? How come she does? Why? Because she's an American woman, and she want to be just like Princess Diana. Good.
I don't know about that.
I hope that she gets to be like Princess Diana. But she don't get to wear the long gowns. She ain't going to get to see the tower, the jousting session, none of it.
And do you honestly think you're going to be able to go over there and live there?
Yes, ma'am, because that's part of our family.
I understand
what do you mean you have to be... What's this suit of armor?
There's a kind of a jousting session we have.
Uh-huh.
On a horse?
Yeah.
Well,
Do you know what
it sounds
jousting
to
is?
me like the castle and the suit of armor and the jousting and the flags and the moat and the 500 or 700 acres of the village is all a heck of a lot more important than your poor fiancée who's just trying to keep her family name alive.
Oh, come on, but
and I suggest that if you're going to live in the States, you should become a little more open-minded.
She wants to come to the castle, don't she? Sure she does. And you would too, wouldn't you?
You know what? I don't think I would. I think I'd find a guy who would want me more than the castle.
I told her this. I said I could take her down to the dungeon, treat her like a dungeon wench, plant my seed all like that with that kind of a fantasy deal going on.
Well, you know what? I mean? Let me stop you right there,
What do you mean go down to the dungeon?
This is getting even worse than I thought it was.
No, I'm just saying the castle has got a dungeon.
Yeah, I know. It's got a moat and a drawbridge and flags, and you got to be fitted for your suit of armor for the big family reunion.
Well, I am not disrespecting you, sir. And
I'm not disrespecting you, okay? But I'm saying, forget about whether you're going to have a flagon of beer and a freaking turkey leg, okay?
Yeah,
it's got mossy walls and everything.
What?
I said the castle's got moss on the walls and everything.
Who cares? And you know what? And I think that's why your fiancée doesn't care either. She just wants to keep her family name.
I have a fantasy.
You know what? I think she's listening. Is your fiancé listening today?
The mossy wall and get it done. Right
Is your fiancé listening today?
I hope so. Susie, if you're listening, I could make you a princess or some goddamn thing. I don't care what you want.
Well, let me say a little.
And I told her that one of her favorite fantasies was, and I don't mean to be, I guess I don't know whether I should say this or not, but she wanted me to just to tap her ass a little bit with a turkey leg. And I'd be happy to.
Okay, pal.
I'm serious.
You know what? If Susie's listening, I suggest she go out and find a nice, clean, not rude, and certainly a heck of a lot less self-centered than the guy that she's planning on marrying right now.
I told her.
I'm disgusted.
Why, ma'am? Why? I'm offering her a goddamn castle.
She doesn't want the castle.
With a court jester and all them people that do your hair.
Listen, if you think you can go over to Europe and live there, you have got another thing coming, because I'm from Canada.
You go to the bathroom and they'll carry it out in a pot for you. Get a load of that. I bet you ain't got that in South Pasadena. Hell no.
Why would I want that?
Why would you want it? You know how much...
And you're living in a dream world.
Okay, thank you very much. KFI...
We got butt wipers.
KFI Los Angeles, more stimulating talk radio.
Maximum talk, minimum wage.
Well, is that it?
KFI Los Angeles, more stimulating talk radio.
Come on, Susie.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, get in there, talk about www.com, and you got them naked chicks on there, man. You go click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
If you're going to listen to my radio show, there's one way.
Retard traffic. And we do that because we don't have a website, and we haven't had a website for so long, I can't even count the days, but we just don't have one. In fact, we've never had one.
Bullshit, I don't believe it.
God, you're lame. Yeah?
Phil Hendry.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, the Phil Hendry Show. Margaret Gray on the line with us from Santa Monica. Well, how are you this evening, Margaret?
Phil, I'm very good, and I heard your comments about Maria. I have met her. She's a really responsible and lovely girl, and I know she loves her children. I think you have to let her be who she is, and I think things will work out.
No, I absolutely agree, and I'm not trying to... I'm not trying to put the shackles on her. It's just, you worry.
Of course you worry, especially when you're newlywed, as you are. But trust that she is a responsible woman, and trust that she's going to do the right thing.
Will you hold on for a minute? Because I got the marketing director from the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills on the line. Hi.
Hi, how are you, Phil?
Good, how are you? What is your name, if you wouldn't mind me asking?
My name is Carrie Bishop.
And welcome to our show.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to thank you for all your kind words about the hotel.
Carrie, this is Margaret Gray. How are you?
Well, hello there, Margaret.
And I've been to your lovely hotel in both Beverly Hills and Newport Beach.
Oh, you have? Well, I'm very pleased.
It is the standard of excellence for all hotels, I think, internationally.
Well, thank you very much. I've been with the company 13 years, and I feel the same way.
No, you told me... I shouldn't say this.
What?
Well, you told me last week you said the Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, no, I did not say the Ritz-Carlton. I said I liked some aspects of the Ritz-Carlton.
I thought you said to me last week that you thought the Ritz...
No, I did not.
Four Seasons all the way for you.
Four Seasons, I swear, Four Seasons is wonderful.
Well, it's very nice of you to call, Carrie. What can we do for you this evening?
Well, actually, I'm kind of disappointed that you didn't have a chance to stay at the hotel.
Last night?
Yes.
I've stayed at your place in Newport Beach.
Well, but you have to experience the Beverly Hills Four Seasons.
Oh, God, it really is true, Phil. It is so beautifully appointed. The service is second to none. The people are friendly. I love the window. Is it the Windows Bar there, Carrie?
Yes, it is.
It is just outstanding.
Well, thank you so much. But, Phil, I want you to be our guest, and I want you to come and experience the hotel sometime.
But
whenever you can.
Frank and I, my husband's name is Frank, and we have memories. We do have some good memories of the Four Seasons. We were up all night one night, and Frank... He did well that night. No, really, and I think it had a lot to do with
the appointments of the Four Seasons Hotel. Well, that's very nice of you. It's a very gracious offer. Maria's, in fact, one of the very first dates, well, I shouldn't say date. I mean, well, were we married? Well, who cares? One of the first times that we went, I kind of shot the moon, as they say, and we went to the Four Seasons and had a weekend.
Very romantic.
Well, I promise I'll follow up with you because I would really like you to have a chance. I know it's hard after work, but we'll get you when you're on a little bit more relaxed mode, and we'll get you over to the hotel.
Terry, this is Martha. Can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
What are the room rates at the Four Seasons?
Well, they actually start at $300.
Mm-hmm. You see, I asked that because I really think it's important for a lot of your listeners to understand, Phil, that not everyone listening can... well,
what are you saying?
No, am I right or am I wrong, Carrie? Am I right or am I wrong? There are some people cannot afford the Four Seasons.
You're absolutely right.
I don't know that it's important to say that.
I think it is. After Frank and I were there, your front desk called to say that the other rooms were complaining of the noise, and that was the only thing, and I'd say that's the only thing that the Four Seasons doesn't have. No, it doesn't have over the Ritz-Carlton.
You know what, Margaret? We have really thick walls. I'm surprised you were creating quite a racket.
Well, Frank and I, once a year, what should I say?
I don't think that you need to say anything. I know on your wedding anniversary...
We go all out once a year. And listen, Carrie, and I don't mean to be crude, but it's very, very innocent. We play a game, and we did this when Frank was still married to his first wife. I was his secretary, and we played a little game called Leapfrog.
My goodness, I guess you had a big room.
Well, can I tell you what you do? What you do is you do it in a skirt with no underwear.
And you, come on, will you? For crying out loud, the ladies called, and you've been very gracious in offering us an evening. You know what would be cool?
What would?
And maybe I shouldn't say this. It'd be nice if we could let our listeners in on it.
Well, you know what?
You know?
Absolutely. I left my office number on your voicemail. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to set up something for you. And
that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome for so one of our listeners is something to enjoy your great hotel.
Absolutely. You know what? We'll donate a weekend to one of your listeners.
Oh, my God, that is a wonder, because most of the people that listen to Phil, they're just not going to make that price.
Well, you know what? I think they'd enjoy the experience.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that what do you mean most of the people that they can't do the free bills tonight, Phil? Who are you kidding? And quit trying to be so every man and common man. You know that most people can't afford the Four Seasons, but I think that'd be very good, Carrie, to let a few of the people, slow.
Oh, absolutely. They should all have a chance to enjoy Four Seasons.
And I think it's marvelous. And the only other thing that I would suggest about your hotel, do you bolt your headboards to the walls?
Okay.
Actually, only when you show up, Margaret.
Well, don't come knocking if the headboards are rocking. And a lot of...
Will you come on already? I'm talking to the person from the Force. Carrie, you're a very gracious woman. You represent your company very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will call you.
Okay, we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Margaret.
What is the highest priced room there? Just what's the...
The presidential suite, it's $4,000.
Yeah, okay. Does that give you a nice good whiff? I'm trying to say $4,000 a night, By the way, the back of my head was bleeding for a while.
Will you come on with that? Thank you very much, ma'am. And we'll be talking to you, okay?
Okay,
thank you very much. There's a nice lady, Carrie Bishop from the Ford. She just called in because she heard us rapping. Hey, baby, if you're at home listening, man, the marketing director for the Four Seasons said he's going to give us a free room, but I gave it away to one of our listeners, so how about them apples? What was I doing?
All right, we going to get Margaret back in here? 1-800-5201-KFI. She's got a Margaret journal that she wants to talk with us about. That's pretty cool. We lay out, maybe get laid at 4,000 room, sing a night. No, hell no, I'm taking it. What do you suppose that's like? You know, some of these joints, they got what they call a suite. It's just 2 rooms, and that's it. You know, it's not, there's nothing going on. But 4 Seasons, you got to stay in a nice hotel at least once in your life to know the difference between that and what do I want to call it? You know, the ice bucket in the bathroom kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? There's the plastic ice bucket in the bathroom. Yeah, the ice that when you say, where's the ice? Down the hall. There's just a different... What? We got Schnorrers calling in for the freebie to the freaking 4 Seasons. Holy Jesus. Where is the shame? Where is the shame? No sooner I have this very nice lady on for the 4 Seasons, and I got the Schnorrers checking in. And by the way, they were on the 800 line, too, which really makes us feel good. So let me get the free call to KFI and bag that free suite for tonight. God, you should have taken their names down and said, you know what? You don't win. All right, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Alan LeGreen in the KFI Traffic Center. KFI in L.A. County. On the line with us, Margaret Gray, freelance journalist, and also writes a syndicated column that appears weekly in a number of newspapers around the country. The lady from the 4 Seasons I thought was very nice.
Oh, she really was, Phil, but I wanted to make this point. It's interesting, I think, what you get for your dollar. I think the 4 Seasons is outstanding. Don't get me wrong. And it could very well be that Frank and I were there. We were at the one in Beverly Hills. I don't know, is the one in Beverly Hills. We stayed at the one in Newport Beach. And it was our 30th wedding anniversary. And we really did get a complaint. And
what, because you were making a little bit of noise?
We made some noise. It could very well be. I don't know if we were that loud.
Well, you know, I don't care how well, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Insulated.
Yeah, I don't care how well insulated a room is. If you're really, really loud, you're really, really loud, and people are going to, you know, make complaints.
Well, we have, it's interesting because Frank and I were there, mixing business with pleasure. He had a conference. The tape recorder was on. It's the funniest thing. We've got a tape recording of it. And
of what? You and Frank having sex?
Frank and I at a particular moment, yes. And it's a little embarrassing, but I think it illustrates this. And I don't know if Carrie wanted to hear this because I was serious about how loud...
You have a tape recording of you and Frank on your 30th wedding anniversary.
Yes, we do. And again, if it's something you don't want to hear...
Well, what does it illustrate?
It illustrates how thin the walls are. Do you want me to play it? I don't know, Frank. Do you have that?
Are we supposed to play this? Go ahead if you got it.
Thank you. If you can hear it, Phil, if you can't hear this, I'll just roll it, all right?
This is you and Frank making love on your 30th wedding anniversary, and it illustrates how thin the walls are?
Yes, because there is a very audible complaint from a person next door. Let me just roll it here. Oh, Frank. Oh, Frank. Oh, Frank. Oh, Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank. Oh, Frank. Jesus Christ. You people know that people don't get to sleep? What the hell is on?
Yeah.
Holy Jesus! 4,000 a night for this program!
Here we go again.
Oh, my! 400 a night? Oh, my goodness! Son of a bitch! Oh, my God! Did you hear that, Phil?
Holy God! Was that the guy next door?
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. I think that any normal...
Well, I have to tell you something, and I don't mean to be rude, but that was just about... That was like an... Did you hear yourself in the tape?
Yes. What was wrong?
There's nothing wrong, but it was extremely loud.
But did you hear how rude the man was next door? That's what I wanted you to hear.
I heard the guy yelling from next door, yes. I also heard you screaming as if you were being knifed.
I don't know what you're talking about. What I was talking about...
You played that tape for me to hear what?
I played the tape for you so you could hear how rude the man was. And
were you in any pain? Because it sounded to me like Frank had a screwdriver that he was shoving into your abdomen.
Good God, no. I love my husband. He's the greatest lover I've ever met. I'm talking about the rude bastard next door who was screaming. Yes, I was in pain, but it hurt good, you know. Hurt so good. Here, let me play it again.
I don't want to hear it.
Let me just hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank. Right, without the liquid butter, too. That was just...
All right, hold on. I don't need to hear the liquid butter part.
But in any event, that's what happened. And that's what I think Carrie is a lovely girl, and I think the Four Seasons is wonderful. I think they need to bolt the headboards, some insulation, and you know what we need are some extra towels to shove in the cracks of the door. Otherwise, it's just wonderful. Here, let me just shove. What is going on over there? Oh, shut up. So there it is, Phil, and you can get copies of that by sending me a self-addressed stamped on...
All right, hold on for a minute. Yeah, I want copies of that. What is that? I don't know whether that's sex or a snuff movie going on there. And listening to her bellow like a water buffalo. Phil Henry Show on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. This is the Phil Henry Show. And good evening. Our number is 1-800-5201-KFI if you're calling from Orange County, or if you're calling from LA County, 5201-KFI. Margaret Gray on the line with us from Santa Monica. And so enough fooling around here. We wanted to talk about an observation, at least, on human behavior that you had.
Yes, Phil. And we are, sort of taking some liberties here. But I wanted to talk about something that I think is a marvelous tradition in our country, but again, there are two ways to look at everything in life. We have a wonderful tradition in our country of African-American people who...
Oh, boy, here we go.
No, I want you to hear me out, Phil, because I think it's a very good observation, and it's not racist. It really hurts me to think that when I make observations about people, some people immediately want to assume it's race. And
I know, it's just when we go down this road, people's feelings get hurt.
I'm not really interested in doing that, Phil. I just want to make an observation. It was one I made on a city street today here in Santa Monica. I was going into a store. There was a young girl walking down the street. It was on Wilshire Boulevard. She was a young black girl, very lovely girl, and I want to preface my comments by saying we do have a marvelous tradition in our country of African Americans. Black people are much, much more open and free to express themselves musically and physically. I think most of us agree. Of course, we've all heard the jokes about how white people don't have rhythm and so on.
Yes, I know. You know what I'm thinking, though? Going down this road is simply perpetuates stereotypes, okay?
No, it does not perpetuate a stereotype. I'm talking about the propensity of many of our black citizens, neighbors, and members of our community to be very free when it comes to expressing their happiness. And the reason why I say that, here's a young girl. She's walking down the street. I think she was about 15 or 16, and she was moving her hips and moving her hands and singing out loud in a way that was very charming, but in a way that, I don't know what it is. It put me a little bit ill at ease, and I think it does a lot of people who are not minority, people who are non-black or non-Hispanic. It puts them ill at ease. It tenses them up a little bit.
Well, what was she doing? She's walking down the street.
She was walking down the street, and she's singing. In fact, it was a song, I don't know, but the words were, "My baby loves to party all the time, party all the time." As she was walking down the street.
So she was singing to herself.
No, I would not say it was singing to yourself. When you're singing to yourself, you're humming, I'll give you an example, Phil. If I'm singing to myself, I'm going, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. But this young girl was going, "Oh, my baby loves to party all the time," and she's moving her hands and she's moving her hips in a manner that would put off some people who don't understand, who are not white, who are white and who do not understand that sort of feeling. You know, I again feel like...
I don't know what it is you're saying. Are you saying that this girl is...
It was very vocal. It was very boisterous. It was very out there. It was very much invasive of a sort of personal space that we don't talk an awful lot about, and that is the personal space of a peaceful psyche and peaceful thought. And when someone is standing in front of you in line, when someone is standing behind you in line, and they're going boo boo ba doo boo ba da 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 la 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 la, and very loud and very boisterous and very much now beyond just humming to yourself and singing to yourself, now you're talking about someone who is drawing attention to themselves. It becomes a bit disquieting. And it becomes...
Well, do you think you're dealing with someone who is mentally unstable? Do you think...
Well, you know, I carry pepper spray in my purse. This is going to sound absolutely ridiculous, and yet it was my first instinct. I have a handbag, it's a shoulder bag that I carry with me, that I carry an awful lot of work material in. And it was the funniest thing, Phil. The girl was going down the street, and she's going, boo, 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 my baby parties all the time. And you know, I instinctively went for my pepper spray.
You reached into your handbag and grabbed your pepper spray because the girl was singing?
Because it was unpredictable, because it was boisterous, because it was loud, because it was very demonstrative, exhibitionist. And what I'm saying is, to our African-American friends, it tenses up a lot of people who are not from that cultural background. It causes to tense people up.
And well, okay, so I've seen, and I think a lot of people have seen and heard people who are singing out loud. You know, when I was in Mexico, there was a guy raking the beach down there. A guy who worked for the hotel, singing at the top of his lungs, having a wonderful time.
That's different. That is in a foreign country. He's a hotel worker. He is supposed to do that in order to, I would say that he's probably encouraged to do that in order to create an atmosphere for the hotel guests. But I'm talking about a girl standing, walking down the street, going, ah, la, la, doo, boo, boo, ba, boo, 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 and all of that sort of very rhythmic, very African, you know, and very loud and singing. I think there is a propensity on the part of a lot of African Americans to sort of put their hip in the face of white people and remind us that maybe we've got a long way to go toward expressing ourselves.
Well, what is wrong with that then? What is wrong with getting into the face of non-rhythmic people? Let's say it's white people you're talking about.
Well, I think it's predominantly white people.
All right, let's say it's predominantly white people. What is wrong with us being reminded we ought to loosen up, we ought to walk down the street, we ought to sing a little bit?
I think it is invasive, again, of what I call that personal psychic space. There is personal physical space. There is personal psychic or psychological space. I think it's invasive. And I think when you're standing, for instance, in a line, waiting to get a hamburger, or you're standing in a movie line, and there's a couple in front of you, or there's a young lady in front of you, she might be black, she might be Hispanic, and she's, my baby party, and I like to party, and she's waving the hands, her butt going back and forth. It's very disquieting. I think for a lot of...
Well, is it disquieting for you, or is it disquieting for most white people?
I think it's disquieting for most whites. I really do. I think in terms... I was earlier downtown today, and I saw the very same thing, a couple of boys bebopping to something on the radio. We need to have... If she didn't have a Walkman on... Okay, and so I have to say to myself, why isn't she wearing a Walkman? Why is this spilling out onto the...
Okay, hold on for a minute. Spilling out onto the street and all of this stuff. You're talking about she should be wearing a Walkman so she's not dancing and she's not boogieing and she's not doing all this stuff, okay? Again, I have to say to you, why can't a person walk down the street?
Phil, there was a man who was convicted in Michigan recently of uttering publicly some profanities. I think that...
Well, you think this is the same thing, a girl walking down the street and singing to herself? I mean...
It is very, very boisterous. It is very, very demonstrative. It is very, very exhibitionist. It is very, very invasive of the personal psychic space. Again, it doesn't bother me so much as it does an awful lot of people, yes, white people that I know who tense up around this behavior. And
well, you said that you grabbed your pepper spray. Okay?
It was instinctive. But what I'm basically saying is, when you're in public, I think there is a public demeanor. I think there is a public decorum. I think it needs to be observed. When you're out there going boo-bo-ba-doo, and my baby, 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 and she was just baby, baby, baby. Everything she said was baby, oh, ooh, wow, baby. I got very nervous, and I could see the people around me getting nervous, and I could see them, suddenly the veins in their necks, and the eyebrows creased, and they looked sad. Isn't that supposed to make you feel better when someone's going boo-boo-ba-boo-boo, baby, baby, baby? And
well, I don't know what you mean by boo-boo-ba-boo-boo, baby, baby, baby. She was singing to herself. She was having a good time. If you tense up, isn't it your problem?
No, if you yell fire in a crowded theater, is it my problem? If you yell a profanity, is it my problem? No, I think it's invasive of the personal psychic space.
Well, I don't see yelling fire in a crowded theater as being the same thing as a girl going down the street who might be black, boogieing to a song that's going on in her head. I don't know. Hold on. 1-800-52, I got to ask her, is she going to be doing her column about this? So what's the problem here? So the girl's walking down the street today going, boo-boo, my baby likes to party all the time, whatever. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County. Is that it?
And I was going to say she had back. She was moving that ass. That's all I'm saying. It's just sort of...
Is it a demonstrative demonstration of sexuality? I'm not sure. 1-800-5201-KFI Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Phil Henry with Margaret Gray on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
I got chlamydia.
Phil Hendry.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Phil Hendry Show. Margaret Gray on the line talking... what are you talking about here? Behavior?
Phil, I'm talking about a young girl. I saw a man at a bus stop, the same thing, with a Walkman on, and he's boogieing down, and he's swinging his rear end around, and he's woo, yeah, and it's like he's on Soul Train. It makes people nervous, and you could see the people at the bus stop backing away. And
all right, so if it was up to you, people wouldn't be dancing in public?
It's not dancing in public, Phil. It's being overly demonstrative and invading people's personal psychic space.
All right, well, let's talk about this notion of personal psychic space. Silver Lake on KFI. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hi.
How are you?
Do you believe in something called a personal psychic space? Ma'am?
I definitely believe in a personal psychic or expressive space. That's the First Amendment. That's what being an American is about.
No. What are you talking about, Margaret?
I'm saying to the side, we're not talking about psychic like Dionne Warwick, dear. We're talking about not having it invaded by someone boogieing down and all of that.
Well, that would mean you'd have to stay in your home, in your own personal space, and never come into contact with anyone.
Let me ask you something. If there's a brother standing at a bus stop, and
what do you mean a brother?
Well, it's generally black people that do it. And he's going, woo, yeah, and he's dancing, and people are backing away. What does that tell you?
It means that perhaps he needs to woo yeah and woo yeah and woo yeah in his own personal space, that he's woo yahing to irritate people. But I myself, I woo yeah and I woo yeah in a way that doesn't irritate everybody around me. If I'm going to just hear a song in my head and just, maybe move my head to it a little bit, that's what being an American is about.
Everybody does that.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the young girl walking down the street. My baby loves to party all the time, and she's going up and down. You admitted that that's very exhibitionist, correct?
Well, that might be exhibitionist, but so is this old man I saw walking down the street the other day singing an old opera song from the 1940s. That's his right as an American, as my right as an American is to move and express myself. However, if you cross a certain line where you are actively going to, I would say, irritate somebody, and I would say that goes across the board for every people of every color of every race. For example, I was walking down the street the other day, and some four guys yell out of their window the N-word. Do you know what I mean? Now, that's an invasion of my personal private space.
That is abusive, that is wrong. I absolutely agree. And that is beyond that. That is criminal, and it is vicious. But I'm talking about something that is a little bit more subtle. You just admitted to me that the brother standing at the bus stop going, woo, 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 woo. He's trying to irritate people, right?
It depends. I wasn't there. If he is going up personally to somebody's private space, in their face, like basically trying to scare them, You know, I would say that is, but you know what I'm saying? I would say that of anybody of any color, yes, that's an invasion of space. However, but you just said, you were seeing somebody just kind of bopping her head, singing to a song. There's nothing wrong with that.
Was she singing loudly?
Oh, my God, it's, my baby loves to party all the time, yeah, You know who it really scares, and it's not so much a lot of the Orientals that come here, a lot of the Asians who are tourists, it really puts them off. Our city is reliant upon enormous amounts of Asian money for tourist dollars. And you have a group of Asian people, they step out of a cab, and the first thing they see is some fly brother going, woo yeah, ha, woo ah, ha. It's scary.
What is a fly brother?
Well, some brother trying to be fly, and he's...
No, I don't understand that expression. What do you mean?
What do you mean, like well-dressed?
Yeah, well, he's raw. In other words, he's well-dressed, but he's on a skateboard. Something really wrong.
Oh, are you talking about like those surfer kids who will when you're in Venice and they'll just go by you on these like surfboards and sing all their party songs?
Well, no, but they're
those white boys.
Are they dressed in suits?
Well, as long as it isn't harassment, assault, or battery under what the law defines, then it's cool. We're protected under law. That's your First Amendment right.
Do you think
freedom of expression, freedom of speech?
Do you think there's such a thing as a sensitivity then?
There is a sensitivity, but you can't. You know how kids are. You know how kids are.
We're scaring money away from the city.
We're not steering money away from the city.
When you've got some pimp daddy in a Hyundai.
A pimp daddy? What's that?
Well, you know what I mean.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm saying.
All these things that you're saying are pretty stereotypical and racist in my opinion.
No.
Yes.
I'm trying to use words that would...
No, why don't you define people according to actually who
What does the guy look like who was boogieing at the bus stop?
Boogieing in her butt. That sounds real stereotypical to me.
I'm trying to relate.
You don't have to say pimp daddy to relate, okay? We all know you're talking about some guy who is a very weird personality, right?
He had on a shiny suit with the tight cuffs, a big loud tie, these Chico Jr. boots, and sort of a kind of a greased hair thing.
And where was this?
And this was at a bus stop on Wilshire, and he's holding a skateboard. Now,
did he have a woman with a big wig around him?
A big wig around him.
Well, he sounds like he was a pimp. Was there...
No, he was holding a skateboard. A pimp, I think, drives a Cadillac. And he's got a Walkman on, going, wow, wow, wow. I don't know what he was listening to, but these three Asians got out of a cab, looked at him for about 3 seconds, and got right back into the cab.
Well, if they're that scared just because he's on the corner going, ooh, wah, wah, maybe they need to go back. I mean, this, after all, is our country.
This is our country. Don't they come to see that?
I think they come here, Phil, to see something a little bit less shocking to the nerve. They get out of the cab, they see Pimp Daddy there, they get back in the cab, back to the airport.
I have a question for you.
I've seen it.
I have a question for you.
Down Wilshire after this.
Wilshire? Well, okay. All right, look at popular film. Look at popular video.
Look at popular
Look at it. It's all. What is it based? It's all based on what's popular in the day. It's all based on this whole hip hop kind of, I guess, Pimp Daddy, what you'd call it.
In a club, but not standing there on a corner with a skateboard under your arm.
Well, that is. I suppose that's
right.
Reality.
I appreciate your call, ma'am. Margaret, I got to put you on hold as we discuss people who are demonstrative, who are boogieing down the sidewalk, who are singing at the top of their lungs, who got a Walkman on at the bus stop and are swinging their ass all over the place, scaring the Asian tourists so much they jump back into the cab and go back to LAX. Is that what you're saying?